All right, it's crossover, Willard and Dibs. But before I get to them, hey, we got playoff football coming up. Evan, turn that mic on. Evan, put that coffee down.
Thank you.
Put that mic on. When's that? We got the Bay Area Panthers.
Yeah, the Bay Area Panthers' first ever playoff game on Sunday, 3:05 kickoff at SAP Center in San Jose, California. You can get your tickets at BayAreaPanthers.com.
Who's that? Please, don't bury the lead. Who's on the call?
I will be on the call, along with Mark Grandy, of course. We've been on the call for every single home game of this season. We'll continue to do so for the first ever playoff game.
Now
305-95-7.
It's like a rock, paper, scissors each time in terms of who gets to do play-by-play. Is that right? And who's doing it for the playoffs game? Yeah, the playoffs.
We will be splitting that game.
Okay. All right. You get the first half or the second half?
I get the second half.
Ooh.
Hey, good. Go. What are you saying? What are you saying, Grant? What are you saying, Grandy can't handle crunch time?
Doc on him.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Now we flipped a coin.
Oh, okay.
I told him he could choose, and he chose the second half.
Oh, why are you so
He
nice?
deferred to the second half.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You want to set the tone, though. You want to set the tone.
Are you ready for the first play? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 2.
Howard and Muhammad Ali quietly had some. They had some great chemistry.
Who?
Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali.
That was random.
I mean,
I was going to say that.
He just did his Cosell.
No, I know.
And he got a 2. But they were phenomenal. You watch some of the footage, just like Steiny, they were buds.
Yeah, I know.
World was different then.
Hey, you know what, Willard?
It was different. Try to explain Howard Cosell to anybody now who's in their teens. They're like, what?
Well,
What?
He was
like Stephen A.
People cruising around in yellow blazers. Like, what is this?
He was a mix of Bob Costas and Stephen A.
Correct.
Smith. He was the best of both worlds.
You don't need to explain it to me.
Yeah.
I'm
explaining to the audience because we're doing radio here. So I'm trying to think about the broader audience here. We just had a 15-minute meeting about doing radio.
I love it.
Oh,
Where do we start?
no.
Yeah, where do we start?
You know where we start.
Okay.
The same place we're going to end.
I'm going to tell Steiny.
I mean, let's be
Is there
right?
anybody within the Warriors organization, I'm gonna put Draymond to the side, that doesn't think what transpired and what he said does not hurt or is embarrassing to the organization and some of his teammates?
You're asking, is there anybody who feels that way?
Yeah, is there anybody that doesn't feel like today was not a good, shout out Ice Cube, it was not a good day for the Warriors, I believe.
I agree with you. Stop? I'm sure there are plenty of people who are furious with Draymond, but I'm sure that's
taking the calls and reading the text.
That's Wednesday. They've dealt with him for 12 years. Like, here's the split that I personally have with Draymond when something like that happens. I think most of us feel the obvious reaction, which is stop talking. The other reaction, though, is what else would any of us expect? He has told us who he is from day one. We've accepted him. We've decided that it's worth it based on winning. He has a brand that he's trying to build. He does it very well. He has never hidden. He's never said he's going to be anyone else.
At what cost, though?
At what cost? What's been the cost?
I don't know how to get a relationship with Jonathan Kuminga. Then you're talking about I can't wait to play with adult because I ain't been around adults, and it's like, dude, you're making it worse.
The bigger picture for me is this, which is that Steph Curry has used the word maturity about 5 times this offseason, and as they keep pitching, we're more mature now, which everyone takes to mean that, yes, you all thought Jordan Poole was immature, and that's fine, he probably really was. But as you keep using the word mature, everything you've done so far this offseason is immature. Chris Paul showed up, and the first thing he did was be rude to Kendra Andrews. Draymond Green on Patrick Beverley's podcast, and here comes the character assassination of Jordan Poole, and he has now already responded on Twitter to Jordan Poole's dad.
Oh, this is ugly.
And it makes me go, no wonder Bob left.
Wow.
No wonder.
We got this.
No wonder. Y'all look like a clown show. It is like from top to bottom. And I mean this to Jordan's camp, too. How old is Jordan Poole's dad? How old is he? About the same age as maybe
not so old that Draymond was afraid to actually face him man-to-man, which he never did, even though Draymond, the story was he did all he could to repair it. In fact, you didn't do the one thing that you should have done to repair it, which was apologize to his parents, as you said that you would have.
He did apologize to his
Yeah,
parents.
he ducked the dad for the entire
dad said
year.
he didn't.
Yeah.
The dad said today he didn't.
said at the press conference, I apologize to Jordan's parents.
Who said that?
Draymond.
Right,
his
but
dad
his
today-
dad said
You
he
never
never did.
apologized.
That is the apology. I am in front of a microphone.
That's not an apology.
Now here's
That's not an apology.
Here's the other side to it, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
it's just-
I think it's very
not.
odd to me, and I have kids. If my sons are 24 years old and get into a work spat, the other person needs to call me? They're adults and they make millions of dollars. He made a public statement, and again, Draymond is so out of line over and over, and this is another one. But if I'm ever 55 or 60 years old and I go on social media to call people a soft ass B and take up for my millionaire 20-some-odd-year-old son, just Jordan Poole has made his first good decision in the last year and a half. He's the only one who's staying quiet, and good for him.
I want to throw this one at you because here's the other thing. We also played the Draymond Green on Chris Paul. I can play it now. It's about a minute where he says he didn't like Chris Paul, and they're going to have to deal with that and talk man to man, adult. We're all adults.
Man to man.
Sure, he's not saying we're all adults. So
Seriously.
I just started thinking about Chris Paul and the dynamic. At first, I didn't think much of it. I thought, yeah, he'll fit. It'll be fine. But Chris Paul's always been an alpha. And he's always been the alpha on every team he's been. He went to Phoenix. He's not the alpha. He's an alpha, but it's not his team.
Be a dog.
This is like going to be the first time he's played on a team that's not his. Like he went to Oklahoma City and everyone's like, oh, he's playing with it. Well, it's his team. He got there, boom, it's his team. Like, what happens when there is strife? Chris Paul is Chris Paul, but he knows he doesn't have the juice. He's like an outsider here. You know what I mean? When it really gets down, Draymond, if it ever gets down to it, Draymond can say, that's why you ain't never won rings, bro.
Right.
And Chris Paul's going to say,
that'll go well for
and
team
Chris
chemistry.
Paul's going to be like, you a coattail hanger on, bro. You ain't Steph Curry. You think you are, but you ain't. Like,
it sounds like October to me, Steiny. You're describing the opener because there is going to come strife is a good way to put it because either Chris isn't going to do the right thing on offense or Draymond's going to make a mistake on defense one time and Chris Paul is going to be there to chirp and neither one of them is going to back down. And the fact that Chris Paul took that opportunity to go at Kendra Andrews and say, oh, you coaching?
That's great.
That shows you already that he's not going to back down in terms of any strife. Now, does that mean either I start or I'm shutting it down? No, I don't think it'll get to that, but there will be on-court disconcertion or disagreements, and it's going to happen.
well, and you know what? It happened with a lesser personality, Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant got here, and he was unbelievably successful, but by the end of it, I think he thought the culture thing was like a mirage.
Oh, I thought we were doing joy.
Remember, he said, I thought we were all about joy. All I'm saying is KD kind of never felt like he got in. Mm-hmm. And how can that not happen with Chris Paul?
Well, and it happened with Jordan. And
exactly.
It feels like something that those three have sort of accidentally built, which is a wall around themselves. That's what it feels like right now. I don't think they meant to do it, but that's kind of what it feels like right now. I agree with you. It's hard to imagine, and I even can, in my own mind as a fan, sort of tie all this together to the thing that I think the organization really, really doesn't want to hear, which is that right now, as of today, they're getting harder to root for.
And that we've taken calls. People have echoed those same sentiments.
Like Draymond is making it harder for fans.
Think about how heavy that is.
The arrival of Chris Paul is making it harder for fans. Wow. This whole picture, as they get older, and people will not be, I think, as receptive as they may think they will be to a decline if it means, we're aging gracefully, but, now we're the 7 seed or whatever. Right. We watched that with the Giants and the Posies and the Belts and the Crawfords, and people were like, get them out of here. Like, let's move on. So that, to me, that's the organizational concern today is you're getting harder to root for.
And the Giants, though, never got hard to root for in terms of, I don't like that guy. It's like, Brandon Belt, please
Hunter
swing the bat.
Strickland was the only one.
Seriously.
Totally. But he was like the core guys. It's like, Buster, you're breaking down, man. I feel bad. Brandon Crawford, you're losing a step. I feel bad for you.
Right.
Brandon Belt, please swing the bat. I feel bad for you. Draymond Green is a bold-faced bully. Yeah. He's an out-and-out bully. And you're going to pick on little Jordan Poole and you're going to punch him. And yes, Mark, it's not a good look when your dad has to come to your social media rescue. But if Draymond was really a tough guy, show up and take on Jordan Poole's dad. Yeah. And we're not going to do that because I guarantee you he's got that grown man strength and he's not weak. Like Jordan Poole was weak. And he caught Jordan Poole with a one piece.
He's I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, though. Like you're suggesting that Draymond Green is afraid to confront Anthony Poole should confront?
I'm saying Draymond Green.
Is he 60?
Draymond Green,
how old is Anthony Poole?
Probably 50.
Yeah, I would say 50.
What I'm saying, Mark, is that Draymond Green is quick to confront those who are weaker than him.
Yeah. Right.
That's what Draymond Green is quick to do.
And you're not just talking physical strength. I don't know. Jordan Poole's dad might be 6'8". I got no idea, but I know what you mean. Like he won't. He can't go up to Jordan Poole's dad.
No, he won't.
No.
And it's, that's why Draymond Green won't really face an interview and face hard questions. He goes on these podcasts where he's going to get glad-handed by other NBA guys who, right on, Draymond, you got that right. That's why the new media is soft. It's a soft blank media because, and I love it, we love the podcast, and he controls his message, and good for him, he should. But he's not answering hard questions. He's not being grilled by actual reporters.
Yeah,
because he's afraid.
To me, the Anthony Poole angle to this is a weird one. I don't know why he's become the most relevant figure.
All of a sudden now, but it was because I guess that was the last straw. Dre talking on that podcast.
But then Dre had to come back to him, of course.
Of course.
What about Draymond responding to a fake KG?
He's funny. He's never, ever not going to be that guy. But he has told us that from the beginning. I'm not going to talk anybody into liking him, but he has been exactly who he is.
And he just got paid, why are you going to be up in arms when the people that pay this man and are around him every day, they take it? And I will say this, and here I go. We talked about it with the hole-in-one. Steph Curry is everything I want my daughter to marry. I want her husband to be when she gets married, okay? The dude is perfect. But Steiny and I got into this, Dibs. Sometimes you can say you're a quiet leader, but when the airplane has some turbulence, it takes something deep within, something vocal. And if Steph Curry if you say he's a quiet leader, I don't think that's been good for Draymond because now somebody has to tell Frankenstein, we got to check. You got to stop. Today was not cool for all of us, but if Steph's not going to do it, it's never been done, and they reward him with a new contract.
Right.
Why am I going to sit here and bust my blood vessels yelling when nobody is they're okay with it?
But it's not Steph's job, and this is where I agree with Steiny in terms of
then it is in a sense.
He's not the leader of the franchise. The leader of the franchise is Joe Lacob and Peter Guber, and then by proxy, Dunleavy Jr., and at the time it was Bob Myers. And if they wanted to check Draymond Green, you had a perfect opportunity when he punched Jordan in the face. But instead it was, see it ring night, buddy, pal.
I don't know if I buy that. Was Michael Jordan not the leader of the Bulls?
In a different way, absolutely. Steph Curry is not the same leader that Michael Jordan is. He's not a vocal leader.
Understood, but the face of an NBA team is the face of an NBA. You don't get to run from that. You don't get to only take the good.
No, but you get to handle situations like you naturally would handle situations. And Michael Jordan was super aggressive. He'd punch a guy. Steph's never going to punch a guy.
No one's asking for him to punch a guy.
But the Poole Dre thing didn't get resolved. So that is on the lack of leadership now. I feel like it's okay and for me to say
this gets back, you know what? And this is, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Station. Remember when Weber and Nelly had the big feud?
Yes.
Back then, you know who caught a lot of heat? Chris Mullin. How come Chris Mullin couldn't make this work?
Right.
Nobody can make anything work unless the two people. Now, But those two people want to make it work.
True. Well, and I
get that.
I get it's probably somewhere in the middle of what you guys are saying because Steph may not be wired to do this.
Right,
I know what you want him to do.
He did something game 7. He said, "Hey, you sit this one out, Dre. I got the mic." And I wondered if we're going to see a new version of it.
But you sit this one out is a lot different than you sit down.
Okay. Yep. Wow.
And I don't know.
Stop talking.
I don't know if Steph has that pitch.
Yeah.
And I know you want him to.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I get that.
All right.
I get that.
Okay.
It does feel like it would be nice if someone in the organization would just be like,
and I do wonder now
to stop.
If Bob Myers we gave him all those accolades for dealing with Dre, but now is he on the couch somewhere or at the gym like, this is why I dipped? I think it's fair that I can voice that to you three and not be a Draymond hater.
But they've enabled his behavior from the get-go. He gets suspended in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. What happens the very next game? He goes to the A's game with Bob Myers and sits in a suite next door to the Oracle Arena. And every single time Draymond Green had a transgression, there's never any punishment, no rebuke. Yeah. It was Draymond being Draymond. Right. So now he knocks out a teammate. No suspension, and now the thing continues to go on, and he's still talking about it. He's still doing damage to the organization almost a year after the punch.
Well, remember Bob said, like I'm leaving, but and we didn't know the name yet, but Mike Dunleavy Jr. needs to call.
I remember.
I'll be available.
You think he's called
today? Might be. I want to.
And Dibs, I gotta say this. And here I go, no sources, but when I got into the business, I had to be careful of what I say, I've heard or whatnot, if I got friends with it. But this is the one thing, say this at my funeral. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I cannot stand a bully, and I cannot stand when the bully gets rewarded. I feel like some of that applies to Draymond Green. Yeah. But what you're saying is what I told Steiny I didn't say it on air. Years ago, after the 16 finals, Tristan Thompson and Draymond at a party. Tristan Thompson mad at Green from some on-court beef. Bottom line, went up and hit Draymond. I'm hearing this firsthand from somebody who was there. And I was like, do I go tell Steiny and that on the air? So Draymond, the bully that he is, I'm thinking, okay, where's the other part where Dre hit Tristan back? Oh, there was none of that. You go look at the episodes of the podcast. He had Tristan Thompson on. They laughed about it. And Dre, from his perspective, and I couldn't wait to hear this, like, well, the clutch management, they grabbed me and told me you didn't want to do this or that. But Tristan Thompson's way bigger than Jordan Poole.
6'10".
And that's what a bully does. So you had the wherewithal then when you had to climb Mount Everest. You said so they could say something to you. But Urkel, I'm calling Jordan Poole Urkel because he's that small, you're going to hit. That's what I don't like. That's the definition of a bully, man. That's the epitome of it.
No doubt.
And I said, oh, my God, that's what Dibs was just describing.
Yeah.
That's just there. I can't stand that. I'm going to pick and choose who I'm going to be bad to.
Well,
no.
and I know why. To go back to your original point, the reason I feel like in the depths of your being, because I know a lot of people are feeling this today, where you kind of go to Steph. It feels like Steph is on the bus.
Wow.
It's not just he didn't check Draymond, but everything, right? We're in Tahoe, and people are shotgunning beers together.
Dre for 3 more years.
We can't win without him, and we're more mature now. Like all of that, it feels. Remember the whole.
Damn.
I mean, my mind went to a real grim place. But remember how people came after Joe Paterno because you were an enabler.
Oh no, the boy. Yeah.
It feels like
Dang.
the Steph Currys of the world, Steve Kerr, everybody Steve's going to go on Draymond's pod. Right. It feels like they're on the train with him.
It's Jack Nicholson and A Few Good Men. And I know I was watching it in Tahoe.
It's the greatest
late night.
Nice.
Your boy was more than half.
We were watching Perfect, and he happened to mention the movie.
No, you weren't watching.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Travolta.
Very underrated performance from JLC. Yeah. The original JLC was only a JLC. It's A Few Good Men. It's like they need Draymond on that wall. They want him on that wall. Yeah. And I think to your point, Mark, Steph's over there high-fiving and shooting threes, and Draymond's doing what he's doing, and quietly they're thinking, yeah, Draymond, get Jordan again. We knocked him out. We got him out of town. Go ahead and get him one more time with the two-piece.
What if this had all happened within the context of winning? Because that's actually, and this isn't to build an excuse for these guys, but that's, to them, I think that's what it is. They think Draymond helps them win.
No doubt.
And if that's what they think, then in the end, none of this actually resonates to the level that we would want it to resonate. And by the way, I would suggest that to the fans as well. You're mad about it this year because they lost. But we've gone over this 1,000 different ways, which is you can convince a fan of anything if you tuck it into winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like things that don't feel good. That example I told you about my buddy who's a Bengals fan who showed up at the girls' soccer game the day after they drafted Mixon. And I said, whoa, that was controversial. What'd you think? And he goes, can he help us win? We're talking about punching pregnant women.
Yeah.
You know, and people wrap their heads around it. So that's why the Warriors wrap their heads around it. They think he helps them win.
Well, I think, and here's where I disagree. I guess it's possible, but I don't think Steph and Clay are ride or die. Ride or die. They want him. I don't think so. I think it's gotten to the point where they're like, it's just like, hey, Steph, why don't you say to Dre? And it's like, it's kind of not worth the hassle anymore. Like, I don't want to really, like, Steph.
But it's never been done.
Steph doesn't want to step in the middle. We don't know it hasn't been done.
Right.
For all we know, it's been done a ton, and Draymond just squashes and quashes it. And then, like, Steph Curry, it's probably been happening for so long that Curry's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not in. I'm not in this.
What if I threw this at you? One thing I've noticed from athletes is they are very hesitant to ever mess with another player's money.
For sure.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm not calling it disingenuous. This is Draymond's act. This is his future career. This is what he's building. This is TNT. This is podcasts. I'm going to talk every time,
right.
Always, no matter what. When you want me to shut up, I'll talk louder. and to tell him to shut up is messing with his money.
No, that's actually an interesting way to look at it because you're right. The brand of Draymond Green after this 4-year contract is I'm the next Charles Barkley.
Yep.
I'm Charles Barkley. Instead of throwing people through a bar window, I punch my teammate because that was already done. So I have my own bit. But you're right, Mark. That is essentially his money.
Well,
and I pause at no cost. At the cost
to the Warriors, though.
They got 4 championships.
He's on the internet, and it's all about Draymond today. But what about the people that are calling? It's more difficult to root for the Dubs, Dibs.
But that's what you get with Draymond Green. And honestly, Goo, are any of those fans going to not go to the game?
No.
When we do a contest for hey, we got 2 tickets to the November 10th game against Orlando. The phone lines will light up.
Gotcha.
Nobody's gonna boycott because of Draymond. Now, when Draymond throws a bad pass, you might get more angry at Draymond than you normally would have, but I don't think that this makes you less of a fan because what Mark said, winning trumps everything. And you got Steph, Clay, and Dre. They've got 4 rings apiece. Yeah. Hey, we got Wiggs all year this year. And you know what? I think Chris Paul can help him off the bench. And if Kuminga can make that year 3 leap. And so all this just becomes noise. But Mark's right. The more you say, shut up, Draymond, the more he's going to speak up, Draymond.
But that ship is
all right,
sailed.
gentlemen. You're going to hand the show over to these guys. It's 2:12. And this is a show where they got plenty of content on 95.7 The Game. And Willard and Dibs taking you to 6 o'clock. Have fun with this one.
Good job, Steiny.
Draymond Green.